Hey everyone, Derpy here. Welcome back to another Battle Cards video. Today I'm going through all the Kixeye employee bases in the April/March bounty, or rather the April-May bounty, and telling you what I think about them, showing you how I've been doing them or how you could do them. First up is the level 65, which you're currently seeing. And this one for me is quite frankly too grindy. It's possible to do just sending in one ship to the inside, which I'm doing here. The other 4 ships were just helping out to kill the piranhas. They were all piranhas, none were badgers, at the beginning slightly more quickly. You should probably take no damage on any ships but that first one. You will notice the one that went around the top did take a little bit of damage, so that wasn't ideal. But the target can be completed probably for instant repair if you drive this correctly, but the point payout for me is just far too low. Because you can do it with one ship, I'm giving this thing a C+ because I'm generous. Average point payout 1140. Jumping into the next one, the level 70, by the way, you can jump around to whichever one you think is best. This one looks to me to be a mini half centaur base. And this one has buildings scattered all across places, warehouses in the corners, which you have to send ships around to. But again, this is complete overkill with 5 exterminators. These things shouldn't be tuned for this. I'm just hitting it to have it on record and show you what's inside it. You should probably be able to do this with warhounds, trenchers, hellswarms, other stuff in that era. It's a pretty solid base. The problem is there's lots of buildings around the outside. Overall, it is too grindy for me again, but I'm going to, because I'm a little bit more negative here with all the buildings around the outside, give this thing just a regular old C. Again, should be instant repair if you drive decently. Jumping into the next one, this is a bit of a different beast. This is Kixeye Peter's based as far as I can tell, and I'm doing this one in a few hits. Starting out with UAV Hellswarms on the right side, target the close warehouse here and take down a few of those if you possibly can. And you don't actually want mortars on your Hellswarms. These are just mortars that do 2 damage there for the combat speed boost. Do some chaining onto all the turrets here. Kill the piranha with your exterminator on the bottom. Then your other 3 Hellswarms, or your 3 Hellswarms still, go back onto the second warehouse that you hopefully still have left there, chain onto another few things, and at this point the island is almost dead, but not quite. I mean, it still has some health there. I'm going to hover over the turrets in a second. They still do have things you have to kill here, so I'm actually going to retreat and come back in so I can chain off things on the top left, rather than driving around and getting timed out anyway. Now, this is how I'm doing it. You could just stay parked with this missile trencher, which is an anti-overlord carrier build with the armor being explosive and radioactive. But I retreat, come back in, and again try and distract with this trencher, which has really high deflection, should take no damage if it's doing these things correctly, which I actually forget a little bit about here. Long story short, after the island is almost dead, bring in your 3 Hellswarms, and because the Overlord carrier is placed where it is, it actually chains off all of that from these decimators onto the warehouse, onto the badger, everything else. In some cases, you may actually want to leave the gate up and the 2 decimators up, and you only kill them once they're already healed back up to half health by the gatekeeper, so the badger and everything else doesn't run out of the back, and you could use an exterminator, the long-range missiles, to take down the badger at maximum range. So this is why you might see me moving a little bit, trying to not kill the gates until almost everything else is down. But when everything except 2 decimators and 1 Overlord carrier is dead, you can go ahead and rush in with your exterminator and actually do 1v1 the exterminator versus the badger. It's not a great matchup. You're going to take some damage, which is where this comes from. Even if you could do it for instant repair, I'd still give it around the same total grade I do, because it is very lengthy to complete, and no one wants to hit, 2, 3, 4, 5 dozen, literally 100 targets in some cases of these bounty things. I want quick, engaging, even high damaging if they're high payout targets. Having 2, almost 3 hits to go through this one is not my idea of a great time. It's possible to do it for lower repair than this if you do use that long-range exterminator missile trick, which I have used before, but I'm giving it just about a D because it is too much damage for me, and it is too many hits for me was actually the big part here. So maybe you could argue for a C-, but this is what I did. Okay, jumping into the captain levels now, these tend to actually be a little bit nicer because they pay out more points, except for 2 of them that we will certainly get into. This is actually still the 120 Quartermaster, not the 120 Captain. I really do not like it how the 120, there's 2 of them, one's a Captain and one's a Quartermaster. It makes no sense whatsoever for me. It's really just not a good thing. By the way, note where I did enter on the top right. That's important because you need to kill a Synth mine, otherwise you're going to lose. Also, I am running stacked because there's almost no splash damage in this target. It's almost all single target. Yes, the shockwaves are splash, but those 4 back ships are instant repair anyway. This one, I'm giving you an A-, or B actually. The only thing I did not like was the Zenith mine is off to the corner here, and the fleet does take a little while to kill. Other than that, it's a pretty solid target. I'd be happy with this one. Okay, jumping into actually the captain layouts for real this time. This is probably my favorite target, but it's really, really difficult to find, and you have to scroll the map. A little bit slower rather than 4x speed for the initial start here. There are 4 mines in this channel. You have to avoid taking damage from those mines on all one ship. You can do that fine, then it will just be 24-25 minutes damage on one ship. I'd rather have it split up across all 4. It is very easy to trigger all 4 mines with the same ship if you want to. I don't, and by the way, yes, you have to send a ship around to kill these trash buildings. That's another annoying thing here. Notice I do 1 mine per ship, and once that's triggered, I send it back and bring in the second one here, so the damage is split up. It's a lot closer to instant repair. This is somewhat tricky and does take some practice and getting used to, but as you can see, I've pretty much got this down. Once you do that, park 1 ship down in the safe zone where you're not getting hit by projectiles, kill the turret, kill all 3 portals, and bring all 4 or 5 of your ships, however many you're actually sending, into the base. If you wanted, you could do the entire target with literally just 1 ship, as you will see in the 112. I like this one, it's a very good target. My biggest problem is the mines. If you don't kill them all in the first time, they'll come back. They'll be there the second time if you retreat, come back in. That's the minus in the A-. Overall, 24 minutes damage across 4 ships. Pretty nice results to me. You can't really argue with those too much. Jumping into a bit more of an annoying target, this is the 120 Captain, which is not the 120 Quartermaster. And this one is annoying because you're getting hit as soon as you enter in most places. You're getting hit by long-range mortars, by long-range launchers. It is quite frustrating. Going on the outside and killing the Badger, and that dead takes a little while, but you've got 4 ships, they do it quickly enough. I send 1 inside to sacrifice that, kill this close portal, kill the gatekeeper if you possibly can. Again, going over a few mines, which is annoying, but not the end of the world because this one doesn't actually do a ton of damage. Once that's dead, you split the ships up, going 1 by 1, so you're not all stacked up and taking lots of splash damage, and kill the portal, kill the gatekeeper down on the bottom right. Once those are dead, you can run up the channel again. Looks to me like there's a 3x3 gap for another one of those hibernation mines, but click on top of the Overlord carrier. You should be about good and kill that last Badger. Again, these things are taking a lot of health to get through. It does take some time to kill these, which is a little bit frustrating. But the total damage for this thing is more than half of my fleet is dead. This is closer to a real player base than it is an event target that's tuned for reasonable damage. So really, this does not make sense to me in its current state as is, with the best fleet in the game. Yeah, I gave it an F+ because it was not horrible, but it wasn't great either. I mean, the total damage, 3 hours or whatever it actually is, 2 hours, 21 minutes for 3.5k, 3,200 on average, was not a deal for me. I would not do this if I gave the option to it, so an F+. Very different story. You're seeing now the 112. This is doable with just 1 ship, and this is thanks to Widowmaker, showed me on chat. Whatever you say about people, I mean, the idea works, so go for it. All you have to do, take 1 ship, charge in, park on top of the second portal, and at this point you should be just out of range of the decimators, not in range of any of these scattergoose on the outpost, not in range of any of these different launcher turrets, and yes, there are sometimes guards in here. Those are 2 gatekeepers and usually don't do too much. I might have to downgrade this from an A+ down to an A or a B+ if that was happening, but it's not, so I'll give it an A+ at the end, as you'll see. The only problems here is that it does have a lot of buildings you have to go around and kill. I guess I could use my other 4 ships for that once everything else is dead here, and kill this thing a little bit more quickly. I just wanted to show off the 1 ship sort of thing though. So not too bad here, and the mines again are not cleared. If you retreat and go back in, they respawn, which is a bit frustrating, but it is what it is, and the target is overall very doable. And finally, like I said here, really nice target. 1 coin is what I would expect for this kind of payout. I'm happy to do this or the 109 all day here. Results speak for themselves. So A+ for 3,200 points on average, 15 minutes damage. Okay, this last target is the 93. It's the worst target. You should never hit this, period. I had to watch another video, actually, which was funnily enough, by Jerry Gamer. and I had to watch him do it. I tried it once, failed. This was my second attempt here. Notice even though I'm going around the outside and rimming everything, things are going to get a little bit more frustrating later because I don't actually end up killing a few buildings here, which are important. So for this the first exterminator goes for the first gate, out of range takes that down. At that point, you can head it in for the second gate, grab that, and bring out the piranha. The piranha is killable fairly easily by 4 exterminators or a harrower or whatever else, even 4 warhounds would do it fine. Once that's dead, or it's about to be dead, I'll send in the harrower to get the overlord carrier, park it right about where I'm showing you, and you can hit it. You are in range of about 4 different corrosive mines. If you're not lucky on your critical hits or you're unlucky on your evade, you might actually end up missing, which is a little bit frustrating. Once the overlord carrier is dead, you can send in your 3 remaining exterminators one by one to avoid too much splash damage from whatever else, and send those in. Notice there is a tier 7 EMP ship, a warden, on the back right of the island here, which could be a little bit frustrating. Not too much to worry about though, I really only hit it one time. The base is not set up perfectly for that, and all the mines have been triggered, so at this point I've basically won. This base was set up to be unkillable when we had 3 or 5 exterminators or whatever. It was supposed to be a very hard one, and it still is. My biggest problem though for this one is that the points to damage ratio is completely insane. It does not make sense to lose your fleet for 3,200 bounty. And as you can see, I did not kill the buildings on the outside of the shipyard, so I can't actually engage the target again because the harrower is dead. I had to send a second fleet to do it. F-, no one should ever hit this target. Alright folks, well that's pretty much all I had here. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful jumping to different timestamps and seeing me hit the targets. Hopefully it does give you a few ideas. Of course, Kixeye should not tune things based off my results in my fleets. They should do it based off the average. But watching this might help you reduce your damage a little bit. Thank you to everyone whose names appear on screen. And as always, this is Derpy signing out, helping you be a better pirate.